Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Search Engine Optimization Demystified. My name is Sarah Bedrick. I am one of the trainers here with HubSpot Academy, which you may have heard of. During that keynote, we train tons of customers on inbound marketing best practices as well as the product. So with HubSpot 3 coming out, you may be on quite a bit of the webinars that I'll be running. A quick fun fact about myself is when anybody gets started at HubSpot, they give us a portal so that we can, or a HubSpot account, so that we can learn all the tools as well as practice inbound marketing. We're encouraged to do something that we're incredibly passionate about as our portal. And I figured I'm already really passionate about inbound marketing, but what else is there? Well, I love craft beer. So I started a website, thegirlsguidetobeer.com, talking about craft beer, practicing inbound marketing. Quick reminder, HubSpot loves feedback. The more feedback that you guys can provide us with, the better these presentations will become. So I highly recommend rating my presentation, rating all of the presentations that you see here at Inbound. Also, probably already familiar with this hashtag, but anything, any thoughts, feelings, or questions that you have, feel free to use the hashtag Inbound12. So let's get started. A transformation has occurred. And no, I'm not talking about the transformation of everything being online. We already know that the internet is the largest source of content and data that we have ever seen. That's why we're all here at Inbound. The transformation that I'm talking about is in the world of SEO. The world of SEO in just the past 18 months has been completely turned upside down. And in the past 18 months, Google and Bing have made substantial updates to their algorithm. And rightfully so. 92% of online users first start their product or service research online. That's a lot of people. And the more interesting fact and more relevant to SEO is that 75% of those people never scroll past the first page. And while this is interesting, 75% of people, why is it so high? Everybody's turning online. Everybody's staying on the first page. It's because these substantial updates from Google and their algorithm. One of the major ones in the past 18 months was called Panda. If you're part of the SEO world, you're familiar with it. You may have heard of this. It's named after one of the engineers on Google's team. His last name is Panda, and he worked on this update. And the thing about Panda is that it focused on quality content. That was really its main focus, is getting quality content rising to the top of those search engines. And Panda affected 13% of search queries online. That's huge when you consider 100 billion searches are conducted on Google every single month. 100 billion. So I already said Google's main focus of this was to focus on quality content, yes. But straight from Matt Cutts, he wants to focus on the end user. All of these people going to search online, 92%. It's crazy. All of these businesses seeing this as a huge opportunity for us to get more business. That's what we all want, more business, acquire more customers, retain our current customers. And the internet is a huge tool to do this. But the problem was Google and the other search engines, their ranking algorithm, they're all secret. And so the world of SEO was spawned from this. And we began to obsess over this black box. Since we don't know what the algorithm ranking factors are, we had to guess and think of some techniques and start thinking about page titles, page URLs, keyword density in the first paragraph, keyword density in the first sentence, where the keywords are in our titles of our blog articles, where they are on the page, H1s, H2s, H3s. But this was all wrong. People lost sight of what was truly important. It's not the search engines. It's the consumers. Search engines don't buy your products and services. The consumers do. And so straight from Matt Cutts himself, the head of the search quality team over at Google, also head of previously the web spam team, he says these updates and the changes that we're making to Google and our algorithm, we want you to focus on the end user. They know about this world of SEO. They know that people were getting caught up in all of these different techniques and factors and things that are important. But he says, no, focus on the end user. These updates, what we want to do is try to level the playing field. We want to help those people who can't afford expensive SEO consultants. We want the mom and pop shops who are making great content and a great website rewarded. And so SEO, strictly based on its definition, techniques that help your website rank higher in the organic search results, seems a little antiquated now. Straight from Matt Cutts himself, we're focusing on the end user. And so now what SEO really is about is focusing on creating a quality website with quality content. And SEO, with these updates that Google's making, is actually easier than ever. With these updates, Google's becoming more transparent. If you're aware of the webmaster tools, they're releasing more information all of the time so that people know what quality content is and what a quality website is as well. And so since SEO is easier than ever, I want to talk about how SEO is actually a lot like something we've all done, or some of us are doing now. Before yesterday, SEO like dating might have seemed a little crazy, but I think Rand's keynote yesterday really validated this. But I took it in a little bit of a different direction. We're going to talk about 4 different ways that SEO is like dating. And the first one is doing your research to find your match. So I'm actually going to hop down here into the crowd and pick somebody here. Hi, miss. Hi. If you could just speak into my microphone. What's your name?
My name's Sarah.
Another Sarah. Fantastic. So Sarah, I'm going to tell you, I want you to pretend that you're single right now. Pretend that you're single, and I'm going to tell you that I'm going to set you up with a great friend of mine. He is fantastic. You are going to love him. What is one of the first things that you do?
What, that you want to set up?
Yeah, I'm going to set you up with a great friend. What's the first thing you do?
Sure. What's his name? How tall is he?
Okay, so what's his name? How tall is he? Exactly. You start asking questions. What does he look like? What does he do for work? What are his hobbies? Where does he live? Is he married? Has he been married? Does he have kids? Does he want kids? And Sarah, and what we all do in this scenario is we ask questions. And we ask these questions because we want to know if this person is an ideal match for us. Because we don't want to just date anybody. We want to date an ideal match. And the same thing applies for your website. You don't want to just send anybody to your website. You want to send the right people, the qualified people to your website. And when you want to send the qualified people to your website, you do a little bit of research. You create content that will naturally gravitate them towards you. And the research that I'm talking about is researching your ideal match or your marketing persona. Now, how many of you here feel like you have a really, really strong understanding of your marketing persona? Not many. Just a handful of hands here. This is not only the first thing to successful SEO, but this is the first thing to a successful business. You have to think about who they are. Are they male? Are they female? Are they a teenager? Are they a baby boomer? Where do they live? Because if you only sell to Boston, you don't want to attract people from California to your site. And then if you're B2B, you want to think about where they work, what do they do for work. You have to understand these. Understand them well. Because when you understand your marketing persona, you understand their problems. You know what types of problems they encounter. And when you understand the problems, maybe they maybe they're in debt. Maybe they need software, an ERP software. Maybe they have problems with the budget. Maybe they need something convenient. Maybe they need something reliable. When you understand the problems that they have, you understand keywords. The keywords are essentially what Google looks at on every single page of your site to determine what that page is about. Keywords are the foundation of your website. So to understand your marketing persona, understand their problems, you then have a great idea of keywords that they type into that search engine to find you. You structure your pages around these keywords. And I'm going to stop here. I want to tell you a quick story about one of my friends who recently graduated from law school. He's now a bankruptcy lawyer and asked me for a little bit of SEO advice. I said, sure, tell me what you guys do. He said, well, we eliminate the burden of debt. I thought, great, but do people actually talk that way? Think about it. If your marketing persona is under immense amount of debt and probably needs a bankruptcy lawyer, are they sitting in front of a Google search saying, eliminate the burden of debt? Heck no. They're sitting there in front of Google pulling out their hair, terrified of what is going to happen. So we thought about it a little bit more, and we uncovered that they're not typing in eliminate the burden of debt. They're typing in how to get out of credit card debt, consolidate credit card debt, things like this that are more impactful, that are less flowery, that are actually things that they're going to type in. Now, I understand that sometimes we do get stuck. This is our slogan, we eliminate the burden of debt. If you need help coming up with additional keywords or variations of your keyword phrases, we've got a tool for that. Inside the keywords tool in HubSpot, there is an add keyword section where you can get suggestions. I teach our keywords class for Academy, and this is one of my favorite parts of the tool. This has helped bring so many businesses to life. It gives you ideas on relevant keywords, ones that you can target instead of eliminate the burden of debt. Highly recommend checking that out. One other thing here is to think about that keywords, some are just more difficult to rank for than others. If you've heard about long-tail keyword phrases, this is essentially why. Keywords like software, impossible to rank for. Nobody in this room would be able to rank for something like software. But inbound marketing, B2B software, more long tail, more niche, more specific, less competition, something that maybe a lot of people here could rank for. And this is where keyword research is really important, because anybody can go find keywords and create content. But in order to do it successfully, you need to know if you can actually rank for that keyword phrase or not. In the software, once again, under the keywords tool, the difficulty column will be your best friend. Once you have your marketing persona and you've developed them through and through and you know their problems and what they're typing into search engines, add them to the tool. It will then tell you whether you can or cannot rank for it. All right, let's move on. Sarah, I'm coming back down to you. So now, my friend is excited to meet you. You're excited to meet my friend. And I say, you're going to meet him on Friday night at this restaurant. And you want to make a good first impression. I mean, who doesn't, right? So how would you go about making a good first impression?
Well, I would probably go buy a new outfit first, just because I like to shop. Do my hair, get ready, think about some things that I would accomplish at a
Perfect. 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 So Sarah said, if you didn't hear her, to make a good first impression, she's going to buy new clothes, she's going to do her hair. I think the slide cuter here. And she's going to have good conversations. And I couldn't have asked for a better response because honestly, to make a good first impression, you have to be presentable. You have to look good, and you have to have a good conversation. And what this is to your website is your on-page SEO. Your on-page SEO is about creating quality content, that quality conversation. It's going to be valuable to your consumers, prospective consumers, and it has to be easy to understand and crawl. Your on-page is only worth 25% of your site's total ranking value. So out of the whole pie of 100, on-page only accounts for 25%. The good news is, folks, is that this is something that is completely in your control. So there's 3 things that we should always be focusing on with our on-page SEO. And we're going to dive into each one of these deeper. But first, easy to navigate site, quality content. You'll hear that a lot with inbound marketing. And optimized page structure. With your easy to navigate site, the way I liken this is when you go to make your good first impression, for a female, it's maybe wearing a nice dress, wearing shoes. For a male, maybe it's shaving your face and wearing a nice pressed shirt and dress shoes, bringing a flower. Because when you lock eyes for the first time, you make a snapshot judgment. People do the same exact thing on your website. Exact same thing. Have you ever gotten to a website and you thought, whoa, I have no idea what's going on here. This is not sexy. I'm going to hit the back button and head out. Same thing happens on your website. So first, you want to have clear and easy to follow paths. That can be done with your navigation, making it clear. That can be done with the content on your page. What do you want them to do when they get there? Do you want them to read? Probably something about your business. If it's a blog post, probably read your content. Do you want them to convert? You have to make it as easy and as sexy as possible. The information superhighway, as we know, is busier than ever, and people don't have time to figure this out on their own. Let's move on to quality content. Now, there's a couple of ways to make quality content. First, having unique content that provides value. Unique content is content that you, the industry expert, drum up yourself. People, you're the industry expert. People ask you questions on a daily basis. Maybe it's from the phone. Maybe it's via email. Take these questions into traffic-generating website pages and blog posts. Because if one person has that question and they're asking you it in your email, there are thousands of other prospective customers typing that same exact thing into a Google search. So unique, helpful, provides value. The next one is great formatting. I think this is one of the most ridiculously overlooked best practices in the industry. Once again, it goes back to being approachable and likable, and your website being trustworthy. A couple of ways you can take advantage of formatting is by having good subheads. Number 2 here at the bottom is an example of a subhead. Notice above and below, there's some white space. There's also a bolded line. So 27 Smart Ways is bolded. It's larger font, and it's a different color. It stands out. Grabs my attention. Because study after study after study indicate that people do not read your content online, they scan it. And if they're going to scan your content, you want to make it as easy as possible for them to get what they need and then leave. Also including images. This helps to drive home your point. It makes your content easier to digest, makes it look more approachable. And then lastly, the appropriate length. Now, a long time ago, before Google's updates, pages that had, or blog posts that had 200 to 400 words were getting shown in search results. Some of them still are. But Google and what their updates are doing is trying to focus on quality content. And let's face it, I can't talk about SEO in just 200 words. right? You can't cover your industry, you can't cover your topic simply in 200 words, right? So shoot for something more lengthy. HubSpot, we've really added a lot of length onto our blog posts. If you've been following us for a while, you may have noticed this. This is helping us quite a bit, so always shoot for a little bit more length. Any good CMS tool will allow you to apply these formatting techniques. In HubSpot, if you're using the blog tool or a page manager content module, you can do that in here. You can also upload images right into the software. They stay in your library. You can pull them back in later. And lastly, with your on-page SEO, the third thing to focus on, but thirdly, is the optimization piece. Remember, we said that keywords are what Google looks for when searching your content. So we just have to make sure that we include those keywords in a few key places. We don't want to overdo it, though, because just like on a date, somebody who tries too hard, very off-putting. Google notices when you over-optimize your content as well, and they will penalize you. So you don't want to stuff keywords in there. You don't want to bold the keyword every time you use it. Just want to show you guys where these are on a page. Number one is the page title. It's that little tab up there at the top. It doesn't look important. It's one of the most important parts of your on-page SEO. And you just want these keywords to describe what's on the page. So for us, HubSpot inbound marketing software. What are you using to describe what people will find on your page? Number two, the URL. Three, the page content, and that's where the other ones come in. The H1 header here is all-in-one inbound marketing software. Do not forget to optimize that one, because people coming from Google who don't know you, they're a little eerie. Finding something in Google, going to a page or a website that they don't know at all, having a good H1 can confirm to them that they are indeed on the page in which they intended to be on. Internal links. Alt tags when you upload images. Google's blind. It can crawl and read your content like Braille, but it can't see the images, so it relies on you to tell them what they are. And then lastly, the meta description. You don't see the meta description here because the only place it really shows up is in a Google search result. You do want to make sure you optimize this, however. It's number 4. Number 1 is that page title. Remember how it's a small little tab at the top on the last page? It shows up large front and center here. Any good CMS, any good content editor will allow you to change these. In HubSpot, it's in the pages performance. The page properties tool. So you can optimize your pages right within there. The blog tool pulls directly from your keywords to make sure that the keywords that you are tracking are getting pulled into your blog post. Because remember, it has to be in the keywords tool first so you can know if you can actually rank for it or not, based on that difficulty. So I told you some things to focus on: page titles, focus on that last, create the quality content first. But inside the software and a page performance tool, it's going to allow you to nail all of these elements every time. If you haven't checked out Page Performance Tool, it's fairly new. But it allows you to look at different ways to optimize your pages, and specifically for on-page. The far left-hand column we can see here is all check marks. They're all optimized. But once you dive in and select the icon on the left, it allows you to look specifically at each element of your on-page SEO and get suggestions to improve it. Hey, you have the same meta description on 3 pages. That's not right. Every page should be unique. Every one of these should be unique on every single page. It checks all of your pages, all of your keywords to make sure that you're doing it right. So while optimization is important just to be consistent for the searcher and the search engine, remember, guys, straight from Matt Cutts himself, it is all about the consumer. So none of that stuffing or over-optimization. Sarah, I'm coming down one last time, I promise. So you and my friend have been dating for a long time now. Things are getting really, really serious. You guys have taken it to the next level. How do you know when it's gotten to the next level? There's a cue on the slide, actually, if you want that one.
When you form a relationship with the person, I guess.
Okay. So you form the relationship. You've been dating them for a while. Things are going well. Bingo. Meet the parents. Thank you. So here's the deal. When your relationship's going extremely well, your significant other starts making introductions. Introductions of all sorts. Sarah said meet the parents. Sometimes you can meet friends, his friends out at a bar, or her friends out for lunch. Maybe you can meet the neighbor. You meet all different types of people, coworkers, whatever it might be. The same thing applies online. If people like you, they will introduce you. And these introductions in the online world are your inbound links. There's tons of benefits to getting these inbound links. Strong indicators of quality content. This is what Google looks at when determining if your content is quality or not. Do you have people linking to you? Because if someone takes the time to write a blog post about you, that means you have good content. It also helps you to attract traffic and leads. Provide social proof. If you heard RepCore and her social media presentation before this, provide social proof. If people are linking to you, it means you're doing something right. Remember, on-page was 25%. Off-page is about 75% of your site's total ranking value. Wow. That's where the other piece of the puzzle went. 75%. And the thing is about off-page SEO is that it is completely out of your control. Completely. But you can help to influence it. And so as I said, search engines consider these inbound links, the introductions, and search engines actually look at inbound links like votes. Your competitor, one of your competitors has a piece of content on ABC. You have a piece of content on ABC as well. Whichever one is getting more inbound links, say your competitor gets 30 inbound links and you get 0. Well, we know which one's probably better then, the one with the most inbound links. And so like any type of voting system, whoever has more votes wins the election. And the election with inbound links and these votes is coming up at the top of a Google search result. A thing to keep in mind with your inbound links is that they're not all created equal either. Just like the introductions. Meeting the neighbor is not nearly as great as meeting the parents. If you have a sports blog and ESPN links to you, that means a million times more than if Joe Schmo's sports blog that nobody reads links to you. So the quality of the inbound links matter as well. So how do you try to tackle inbound links? How do you get those? Well, I'm going to give you a 5-step guide real quick here to show you guys that getting inbound links is actually easy. First and foremost, you have to be link worthy. If you're not link worthy, nobody will ever link to you. Link worthy means great content, unique points of view, perspectives. Take a perspective on something. Stand out. Create great content that people find insanely helpful. And if you're going to send people to your site, you might as well also create some conversion paths while you're at it. Get some offers out there so that you can get some leads as well. Next, once you've got great content on your site, 5, 10 blog posts recently that are really, really good, you want to create a target list. Where do you want to get these inbound links from? You have to actually take a second and think about this list. Is it from people you've done business with, partners, vendors? Do you want a guest blog? Amazing way to get inbound links to your site. Do you want to simply, strictly focus on pages with high authority? Because remember, inbound links are all of differing values. Or do you want to get links from people who are linking to your competitor? Literally write this down, think it through, and then become visible to your target. What this means is reach out to them on Twitter, like them on Facebook. Be visible, comment on their blog. We all love blog comments. Leave something thought-provoking and powerful. Because once you're visible, they can then remember you. People who leave comments on my beer blog, I definitely remember. And if I were to ever meet them, they would stand out. And that's how you start to form that relationship. Once you're visible, you want to plan your approach. How do you expect to reach out? I mean, if you're following them on Twitter and you're talking to them, maybe Twitter is the best type of approach for you to ask for a guest blog opportunity. If you're liking on their or commenting on their blog, maybe contact us form on their site is the best approach. Maybe finding an actual person that you've met out at a networking event or a conference, you have their card, you're visible, you have great content, maybe that's your approach. And lastly, once you've really thought about your approach, you want to personally reach out. Normally I say no spam here. What we mean by that is no mass messages, no mass emails, no mass tweets, nothing mass, because nobody likes mass messaging. Nobody likes spam. Use their name, comment on their blog. What did you like? Did you like something? If you did, you want to personally reach out. Let them know. Use your full name when leaving your signature. Gives it that personal touch that we all crave as human beings. The last way that SEO and dating are a lot alike is thinking about, what are people going to say about you? What do people say? So if you think about it, maybe you have friends that are great couples or any of the great couples out there in the world that we know. They're always getting invited to places. They're always getting talked about. I have a few. I know that anytime I hang out with my friends, Shannon and Tim, this great couple, they always bring new conversations to the table that leave me thinking the next day. Tim brought up a really great point about that presentation I was giving. Maybe he's right. I should frame it this way instead. If you're really engaging and you're thought-provoking, you're going to get what the social media world loves and what we love as businesses, and that's social shares. Because the social shares are really the conversation about you and your business. And social media is becoming more and more important. 356% increase in usage in just the past 6 years. Social media, we see it all the time on TV commercials. We see it, hear it in radio advertisements, like us, join our contest page. We see it all the time. Social media is here to stay. And the thing about social media is, too, search engines are also now looking at social media as indicators of quality content. Now, it's not nearly like 75% like your off page, but it's a strong indicator. Because think about this example again. Your blog post on XYZ, your competitor's blog post on XYZ. Whoever has more social shares, it's a great indicator that this is a quality piece of content. Because think about the content that you share with your Facebook friends, your Twitter followers, people on LinkedIn. You don't share boring, unhelpful, mundane content, right? We share something that's thought-provoking and fun. Same thing applies with everybody else out there. You want to get more social shares to your content. So how do you do that? Same somewhat path as before, a little bit different as the inbound links, but first and foremost, be share-worthy. Have great content. Next, make it as easy as possible for people to share your content. Most blogs out there have the social media sharing options right on them. But maybe you have a page on your site that you guys are making a huge push for. Get social media buttons installed on that. Make it easy for people to share your content. And then lastly, be helpful. Promote your own content and promote other people's content as well, because remember, the couples that we love don't just talk about themselves. The people at parties that we love, that we meet, they don't just talk about themselves, they contribute to the conversation, they provide value. And so it's not all about you in your social media sphere, it's about your network and your industry. So be helpful. Promote your content as well as others. Remember the definition in the beginning of this presentation when we talked about SEO being techniques that help your website rank higher in organic search results? Hopefully hearing it from Matt Cutts himself and seeing what people are focusing on nowadays and all of those changes that Google's making, we can see that SEO is actually easier than ever. And what we need to do is focus on that quality website with quality content. And so we covered really essentially 4 steps today to dominate the new type of SEO. First, you have to research and understand your marketing persona. If you don't have that down, that should be literally the very first thing you do after leaving this conference. Because if you don't know the person that's going to buy your product or your service, you don't know them at all, you can never create content that targets them. Next, you want to create that valuable content. Make your site look sexy. Make it have that good, trustworthy snapshot judgment. Make the content exciting. I can't wait to read this content type of thing. Have it invite people in with your formatting. Make sure that you do keep it optimized. And optimization really is about the consistency. Next, build those relationships. That's what inbound links and off-page SEO is all about. Is building those relationships, because when you create great content and you build a great relationship, you will receive more quality inbound links. And then lastly, engage in your industry. Share other people's content. Share your own. Engage, provide value, be helpful. Because that's what's going to make your content more likable, more shareable, more tweetable. So we're wrapping up here today. If you're wondering what you can do next to learn more about the new type of SEO, highly recommend attending one of our inbound learning webinars. We're focusing it on SEO, and it will be in October. You can register at academy.hubspot.com/webinars to join. It'll be myself and Mark Killens. And remember, guys, if you're successful with your SEO, a lot of people are going to want to date you. Thank you very much. If you guys have questions, reach out to me on Twitter.